Thank you so much. I appreciate your patience. Thank you
You.
for. I know you could be doing a lot of things, but you gave us time to be here. Like, I really appreciate it, and I'm not taking it for
Thank
granted.
you
Thank
for
you
having
so
me.
much, and I'm wishing you a happy International Women's Day.
Thank you.
I don't know. Today is it a day where women have fun? I wanted to say if we had fun. I don't know if it was a day meant for fun.
Depends on what you want to use the day for. We're using it for everything. We're using it to celebrate ourselves. We're using it to take ourselves out. We're using it to encourage ourselves. We're using it for so many things. It's just a day for us to celebrate being us. So yeah.
Okay, so since fun was part of it, so hope we had fun. Like indeed.
Um, if you call working fun, yes, I did have fun.
I understand the fun. I won't want to take a lot of your time, so I will just go straight into digging deep and setting the pace for us to drill all we can from you.
Okay.
So the theme of this month is awesome. It is
Yeah.
embrace equity, and this has been one of the major things we'll be talking about: equity, where we don't want. Okay, I think I want to. I don't want to do a lot of talking. So, what does it mean? Okay, is it true that I don't want us to define equity yet? Is it true that there is no equity in the society? That is, there is no fair chance for both gender in the society. So let's start from the Western world, not Western world, from Africa. We've been in Africa. We were born in Africa. Is it true that this bias of gender is still is still is still present? As a lady, will you say it is still present, and is this something we need to talk about?
Absolutely. I think it's something that we need to continue to have a conversation on. We are going to have to continue to converse because, as much as you say in Africa, for you to see how important it is for us to still keep having this conversation, even in the Western world, we still have to have the conversation on treating women as fair as we treat men. So it's a conversation that needs to continue to be had because it's not something that we're just going to automatically get to, that's for sure, because it's systemic. So it's not something that started from now. It's not a new thing for us to be talking about. I think one of my favorite themes that we have had for International Women's Day was breaking the bias because it's not a new thing. It has been since before some of the oldest women that we have now are. So it's an old thing that we're fighting. So for us to say is now okay is going to be us lying or quoting it. I think now we just are more intelligent with how we cover it up and how we portray it. So you could, yeah,
Yeah, more,
yeah. I
that's
think
funny
I
though.
think that's
Yeah,
where we
more
are
intelligent.
at now. We are more.
You don't say it directly that you're a woman, sit down. You don't say that
Exactly. So
directly,
you would
right?
say it with a very snacky comment. You would just put it in somewhere, like you would give a man, and it's not even just saying differentiating between men and women, but it's things that we see daily and it's things that we see constantly. We live with it. So you would see a man getting a pass for something, and then when it is the woman's turn, you want to oversee it and see if it is done right. You want to check and cross check and see the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted and all of that. And if it was a man, you would just skim through it and let it go, let it just be a pass. So I think it's something that is systemic. So it's not a one-off thing. It's not something that we can completely talk about and be done with in one International Women's Day. And that's why, like, as much as a lot of people have conversations of should we be having one day to celebrate women? Yes, we should be having one day because it's a conversation that we need to continue to have all the time. If it was not like that, then maybe we can have the argument of not having the conversation. But because it's something that we see all the time, and as much as it's still we are more intelligent with it, it's still there. So yeah, we still have it.
Okay, I want to ask two questions before I go to just two questions popped up while you were having conversation. Okay, I want to ask you two questions and then go now. The first one is, do you think the male gender feels threatened? I want you to say this according to your work experience. Do you feel the male gender feel threatened when they see a female um, doing an alpha female, let's say it that way? And do you think because of the biasness that is happening in our society, women are taking it wrong in the way in their approach? We talk about feminism. Do you think women are going far beyond what they should be doing, or far beyond what they should do in the real sense? In the case of them proving that they have the ability to do these things.
Um.
I need you to give me a second. I want to fix something.
Okay.
Just 2 seconds. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Back.
So the first question is that if what?
The male gender, do they
Okay,
feel?
do you feel
Do
threatened?
you feel
I
they feel
mean,
threatened when they alpha females?
I'm not a man, so I will be talking. I'll be talking based on maybe assumption and what I have seen. I think that anybody would feel threatened when you see somebody doing so much, and because of the position that women we find ourselves in, we have to do so much to not prove a point, but prove yourself. When you are in a society or you live in a place where you have to do almost, I want to say twice as much, but sometimes it's more than twice to prove yourself, to prove your worth, then you are going to be putting your everything to make sure that what you're doing is standing out and making sense to whoever it is that you're doing it to see or to show or anything. And so when you have such, of course, people will be threatened, and of course, men will be threatened by such, because it's not the norm for you to see that. It's not norm. It's not normal for you to see a woman being and that's another thing that we have to converse on. You see. So because of that, of course, there's going to be a threat that you feel. There's going to be something that you feel is you're not comfortable with, because you're seeing somebody that is a different gender, that is supposed to be a weaker person to you, doing what you are also doing and doing it as good as, if not better than, what you're doing. So, of course, they will be threatened by that, and it's normal for that to happen. Yeah. And
There's nothing we
yeah,
can do about that because men are supposed
yes,
to be.
because when a woman puts her mind, and that's one thing I love about women, when they put their mind to do something, they are going to do it, and they are going to make sure that they're doing it absolutely great, and it's going to come out amazing. And so, yes, because they put their everything to make sure that it comes out right. So that is always going to be there. There's always going to be you feel like, yeah, you're not comfortable with a strong woman, you're not comfortable with an alpha woman, you're not comfortable with, and a lot of women are striving for that now. A lot of people want to be seen as that. We have people that are striving to be amazing, great CEOs. We have people that want to be amazing politicians. We have women that want to just step into rooms that you have never been accepted normally. And of course, it's going to be a choice to men. Yeah. The second question, jumped right into as I
The
was
second
answering that question.
question.
Yeah.
Um, the second question is about. Hey, what was the second question? Did I forget? The first one was about feeling trade. I didn't want to forget. That was why I had the two on the go. I didn't put it. Guys may feeling threatened and oh yeah, doing is that about ladies doing more?
Oh, okay. Taking it to the extreme. The thing about anything
Yes.
that we do is that there are always going to be people that see it right, and there are always going to be people that see it extremely the other side. That's going to always be there. It's like when you start to talk about, oh, for example, when and I like to use this example because it's kind of interesting and kind of what we're even talking about this year too. When we started becoming aware of the tech space, everybody wanted to go into it, and of course so many people excelled at it, and then there were also people that went into it that never had any idea and they flopped at it. So when there is something that comes up and is just at the forefront of what we are talking about, it's the most important or the most frequent conversation that we're having. There are always going to be people that would have it from an intelligent perspective, and then there are also going to be people that would have it from, okay, we're just going to make this extreme. We're just going to do this the way we can. It's like what Boko Haram started with as well. They started with, it was sensible when they started. I'm sorry that I've just jumped into that. That's how you know that I am a okay. But when people start conflict, when you start something, you start from a sensible part. At the initial state, it makes sense what you're doing. It's when you take it to the extreme that it becomes a war that people are fighting and people are dying in. So that's how it is. Of course, we know that what we're talking about is when we say we want women to have opportunities the way men have the opportunities. We want women to be able to speak in places that men are allowed to speak. We're obviously going to have people that now want to take it to the extreme and just make it a flop. Yeah.
This year's theme talk about equity, and equity talks about being fair to being fair. Like I see you as a human being, I don't see you as a girl or a female. But do you think that is really possible in the sense that I'm a CEO, I want to employ someone, I know, and from experiences, and I've seen ladies who couldn't handle things based on emotion. Probably they could cry easily, or they take things to the extreme. And guys, through my experiences, guys have been awesome. Another thing is we've seen cases of people who don't want to employ ladies because of probably there will be a time of paternity or maternity leave rather. There will be a time of there will be a time where if I want you to stay at work till 9 o'clock, it's not going to be possible because I know your husband will call, or if you're the head of the house, you are someone that could control your house. I've had conversations with ladies that he said the boss was like, I can't give you this job because you're a lady. It will take your weekend from you and all of those. I'm not sure you'll be able to do this because you have someone you are submitting to. Because if your husband is saying you should come home by 4, probably there is nothing you can do about it. In the real sense, if we are being factual with ourselves, do you think equity is something that will really be possible, especially in the corporate space where it is so demanding? Corporate space, professional space. Do you think equity is something that will experience or will be achieved in the long run?
Yes, it should be. In the actual sense of what
Okay.
equity means, it should be. But when you now say that women are emotional, yes, women are emotional. But it's also the reason why we have more men going through emotional issues than we have women, because with women, we wear our heart on our sleeves. So if there is something wrong and we need to talk about it, we are talking about it. But because of how the society has made men to think that you don't talk about your feelings, that's why they don't talk about their feelings. So it's not like there was a time when God was creating, when God was creating Adam, God was like, you know what, Adam, as I've created you right now, your feelings, you don't talk about it. You don't cry, you don't do this. No, there was not that. But we've groomed men in that way to not talk about their feelings, to not be emotional people, to not think of things emotionally. And it's probably why we also have a lot of children growing up with absent fathers, even if their fathers are there. So it is something that should be achievable because it gives balance in the home. And yes, balance is not something that is easily gotten, but it comes with conversation. So you're giving the example of a woman, a boss having to make a woman stay in the office till 9 p.m. What makes you think it's okay for you to keep a man in the office till 9 p.m. in the night? Does he not have any other thing to do in the home. And you say I'm saying this now because I'm an emotional person. I agree. Yes, I am an emotional person because I am a woman. In case you didn't notice that. But the point is that these things happen in conversations that we shy away from. We run away from these conversations. You're supposed to be able to have a balance with your work, family, because a man that is staying at work 9 p.m. has a family that he has to go to, has children that he has to take care of, has a wife that he has to go and be with at home. Those are the things that causes balance for a man also. So it's not just women that need to be at home before 9 p.m. because they want to take care of the children. It's when you understand that even managing a home is not just a woman's responsibility, but it is the woman and the man, because that family, guess what? It's not just the woman that produced the family. The children did not just come from her. So it's a work for the two of them, husband and wife, father and mother. So if you cannot keep a woman in the office till 9 p.m., you shouldn't be keeping a man in the office till 9 p.m. And that should not be your excuse for not hiring her because you think that her husband is going to stop her from doing her work. Again, it comes down to having these conversations with yourself. There are homes and families where the woman stays at work till 9 p.m. and she comes back home and there is no issue. There is no fight, there is no nothing, because it is understanding that if somebody is going to be outside, somebody has to be at home as well with the kids. The two of us cannot be outside till 9 p.m. So these things come from conversations that a lot of people don't want to have. And unfortunately, a lot of bosses or CEOs don't want to have these conversations as well. We've just assumed that it's not possible for you to be able to get as much value from a woman as you're getting from a man. Unfortunately, it's not true. There are women that are doing amazing. There are women that are doing so well in their careers and everything that some men cannot even do as much as they are doing. So all these things come from conversations that unfortunately we still run away from.
Yeah. I wanted to make a joke of what you said that some men that they're probably just few men.
It is possible, but again, it still comes
I
down to
have
that. Yeah.
I was with a team. We were working on a research, and one of the things we discovered, or one of the questions we asked was, "Where are the women?" Um, Looking literally at some of the important spheres of influence, sectors of life. I will just make practical examples. Like when you look at the politics now, you can measure or you can count the number of females that contested in this election. If you do the percent, probably 25%. I think that
Yeah,
would be too much.
it's
So,
much.
all the
It's
other
way less than that. Yeah.
but if we look at our House of Rep, our Senate House, House of House, Senate House, the whole house, probably you see few ladies and it is dominated by the men. If you look at the entertainment industry, when we talk about music, if you look at the top trends per day, probably on Apple, probably you see the top 10 is by the guys. Probably once in a while, the Tiwa Bello, not the ICT, Tiwa Savage, the semi just tries to,
Pop
but they
up.
don't stay long. They are doing business.
Yeah.
Thank you. When we look at other sectors like that, I'm like, so what happened? Is it? Do you think it's the guys that is this an issue of equity? Okay, let me just ask. What do you think is the issue? Why are we having few ladies at important roles? Should I call them important? They are important at some of these key roles in society, but still, when we go to clubs are still dominated by the females. Brothels are still dominated by females. I don't know if Instagram will block me for that one. They are still dominated by females. Don't you think we need to, before we talk about equity, we need to educate the female gender first on discovery and identify who they are before talking about them having equity and standing up to take a place in
So you see
society?
how the idea or the construct of that men have that women should not do certain things and men should do certain things. women have it as well, because we've been conditioned to think in that way. So you would see a woman trying to do something different and it is questioned. People are asking, but why? For example, when I wanted to do my field, you don't want to know how many people asked me why I wanted to do it. Like, what are you going to use it for? What's the point in you doing it? And so there's still people, we still have women like that, because it's the majority of the conversations that women have with women. And so there are also fields or career choices that are more dominated by women. It's not intentional, it's just something that has happened over time, and so that is just what goes on like that. When before we started having male chefs, now we have maybe a better number of male chefs in the chef industry. I don't know if that's what it is called, in the food industry, food business industry. But exactly. But we know that that industry, if you're going to check the percentage of women and men in that industry, you're going to see that it's still going to be, the gap is still a lot. Kind of like how you have the gap in the entertainment industry for men and women. And we should also remember that while we still have these different constructs and people having different ideas and understanding on what a woman's role should be, a lot of people still believe that the only thing a woman should come and do in this life is get married, give birth to children, and then that's it. Your purpose is fulfilled in your children. That's it. And if God helps you, you give birth to only girls. That's the problem that you are going to have to live with for the rest of your life. So we think of a lot of people with that ideology, people with that. And so even that makes it difficult for women to push themselves to do the things that they should do, that makes them to come out. But let's be honest, it is difficult. It is not difficult. Difficult is the wrong word to use. It is more challenging for a woman to come into some spaces because they are mainly male dominated, and men will frustrate you. They will frustrate you in what you want to do, not because they are intentionally doing it, but because they see you as a weaker person. It's just it. So because they see you as somebody that you are not going to be able to do. For example, they said if you want to make a woman do something, she could cry. She could. Those are the things that you see. Those are the things that you look at. Those are the things that you focus on. I don't know if it was an interview that I was watching. It probably was, or I was reading it somewhere about the entertainment industry and why we have more men than we have women. And they said the cost of having a female entertainer is higher than a male, because you're thinking of her costume, you're thinking of her hair, you're thinking of she must not repeat her outfit, you're thinking of all of these, so many things. And so this industry is dominated. The directors, the producers, the owners, the talent managers, they are men. And so those are the things that they are calculating. It's easy for them to get a Bremer to come out shirtless and just wear jeans. He can do that for 5 shows in 1 week, and nobody will know if he's wearing the same jeans. But a woman cannot do that. Tiwa Savage will not come on a show and wear what she wore yesterday or even last month, because blogs will carry is that she's wearing the same thing. So those are the things that people are thinking of. There are some career spaces that you go into that you're thinking of, it is going to be more costly for me to have a woman in this space than it is for me to have a man. But they're also thinking it is not cost efficient for them to do so as well. So those are conversations that they have, and these things are dominated by men. If a woman wants to step into a political space, and I know this because it is a field that is very much dear to me. It is not the easiest thing for a woman to say she wants to run for a position. They would question you, they would ridicule you, they will ask you how you want to manage what you want to do as a representative of wherever, and how you're going to manage family. Those are questions that they don't ask men when they're coming out for these things. And these questions are unfortunately not just asked by the men. The women will ask you as well. Women will ask you, how are you going to be able to manage your husband and the community you want to represent? How are you able to manage a state and your family? How do you want to deal with this and this and that? Those are questions that they ask. So you have to be stubborn to step into these spaces. You have to be very rugged in stepping into these spaces. And that's why when you see women excelling, they come up and people say, I like to say they're confident, but a lot of people call them bossy. It's because you realize that when you're going to get into this place, you have to be very, very strict and rigid in your decision making. And you have to be very strict in what you also have in your mind as what you want to get. So if you know what's your position that you're going for, I want to be a senator, you know that you're going there knowing that a lot of people are going to criticize whatever it is that you say. You can come out with the best mandate and give the best speech and be the most eloquent candidate, and people will have something to say. You getting to that position is because you're very rigid and rugged in your approach to it. You have decided that I know you are going to come for me, but I'm still going to do this. A lot of people are not, even some men cannot even take the hit that women take when it comes to stepping into these positions. And that's why in the post that I said like a lot of us, we just step into rooms and decide that we're going to break the barrier and just shine. How we're going to shine, you don't have to know, but we are definitely going to shine when we get there. I hope I answered the original question.
One of the things I'm grateful for since I started something like this is my instinct. I've always, when I look back and I look at the guests I bring, and for the topic I bring them for, I'm always like, wow, I made the right instinct. I made the right decision. Asking you this question, it was like, sincerely, it's looking like you have done Orijo and you have seen the
I was
question I
going
was
to
going to
say, you
answer.
didn't
You're
even give
like,
me prep questions, so I came in blindly.
like, yeah, I'm giving you a you're coming like, hey, all these questions, I'm going to put them. But they were so straight to the point. And if I would ask, my question would be, you've mentioned why we have this, why we have few ladies in these practical reasons why we had few ladies in this kind of sphere of influence, because that was like the natural social and society default. What would you suggest as a solution in us increasing the rate at which we involve ladies or women, smart women actually, in all this kind of space, because we did their contribution to, because I think an African country, I think they were really conscious about it. I think it was Kenya or Tanzania where they increased the percentage of their of the women involved in decision making in their. I think when they study their positions, do you think it's something we should be intentional about? So we should just open it, and if they don't come, we don't accept them, or we consciously go out and bring them. Say, oh, you ladies, come and be part of
No, I think
this, which I don't think
it
will happen like
definitely
that.
has to be intentional. You have to decide that that is what you want to do. And some companies or countries, it is an intentional act for them to increase that because they realize and they see that for us to be able to be seen as a sane, you cannot say that. I don't know where I saw this. Maybe I see a lot of things. Maybe on Instagram was where I saw it. That they say you cannot have one part of the population governing the whole part of the population, and you're expecting them to make policies that works for both sides. It's like saying like you have 50 people, you have 25 men, 25 women, and then the leader is a man, and you expect him to understand what the women are feeling or what they are going through. It's not possible because it's not a woman, and as far as it's concerned, he is the leader. So it is what he sees and what works for him and his gender that he's going to do. And so we have to be intentional about it. It's obviously not going to be something that you just open your door and just see any Stella, Jane, and Shola should come inside to come and do whatever it is that they want to do. No, it has to be an intentional effort for you to open your doors and receive them. And you also have to be willing to see that when women speak, it's not all jargons that they are saying. There are a lot of smart women that if you let them open their mouth and speak, answer questions, you'll be surprised at the sense that comes out of what they say. but we are not very patient to listen to them. And then because men want to do things rapidly, quickly, if you're not giving me a solution between A and D, you're not helping me. But a woman wants to think through, she wants to see the ups and downs, the left and right, all of the things that she needs to see. She wants to see the whole picture before she prefers a solution to you, which is going to be a better solution because she has weighed it and seen how it is going to work. And so she knows the holes that should be avoided and all of that. If you're patient enough to listen to them when they speak, when they give you advice, when they say, suggest things to you, then you would know that you definitely should open your doors more to them when you want to occupy or fill spaces or fill positions. Because if you listen carefully to what they say, they just may have the answer to the question that you are looking for.
Thank you so much for that great conclusion. I wouldn't want to take a lot of your time. I just have the last, let me call it like the last sector or the last phase of this interview, where we've been talking general about women and about the being generic in the way in our conversation. I just wanted to go a bit personal in this last few minutes, and I'll just ask the whole question I have in this category, probably one at once. You looking for the best way to put it. You're blessed, and God looked you and God favored you and placed you in a very beautiful and blessed family. And as you come into that kind of family, and God saw you that this family, the first child will be a female, and you are blessed with so many siblings, three. I think there's a form of leadership that is still resting on you. Do you think your gender in any ways affects your role as a firstborn and your role as a kind of a leader in the family? Do you think your gender in any way has an effect in that responsibility? Do you think if it was a man that came as a firstborn, if you think it was David that came first, probably it should have the difference will have been much or nothing will have changed. The summary is: do you think your gender has any effect on your role as a first child in that kind of family? You know, that kind of family, what you are leading is not just a sibling, you are leading like a role of like a big influence. Do you think your gender has anything to do with that? Like someone come and visit your dad and you're like, this is my first child, and they're like, oh, a lady. Have you ever experienced something around that?
I don't think so. I don't think I have experienced having to defend the fact that I'm the first child and I'm a woman to anybody. But it could also come from, like you say, come from a blessed family and they're amazing. So it took a while actually for me to realize that in my home that there's a difference between being a first female child and being a first male child, because it just wasn't it just wasn't something that was made. It wasn't a capital issue. It wasn't like, I never felt like, oh, you're a woman and so there are things that you should not be able to do. Even if anything, I think it just made me, and my siblings are amazing, so they make being the first child easier. Not easy, but easier. Easier. I'm sure they're going to come for me for making that statement, but I love you guys. It wasn't something that I actually paid attention to a lot until maybe just a few years back, was when I was like, oh, okay, I actually see the difference. But it did not affect me in any way because my parents did a good job in instilling important values and helping you to know who you are. So I know that apart from the fact that I am a woman, I know that if I'm going to say or suggest anything to you, I'm not suggesting it because I'm thinking from a smaller brain. My brain is working the way a man's brain is working. And so if I am suggesting something to you, I'm suggesting it to you because I believe that it is something that you should take into consideration and it is going to work. And like you said, there are a lot of people that I happen to now be a senior sister to, and so it is not so many things that I do, I'm able to do because I put my mind to doing it. I put my mind to making sure that I am standing out. I put my mind to making sure that if I'm giving you an advice, I'm giving you an advice that makes sense. I'm not saying anything stupid. And it also guides how I behave or interact. I would say a huge part of that is having a relationship with God, but it is also you being open to letting that relationship affect you and how you handle things and what you do with it. So, for example, I said earlier that a woman being able to achieve so many things comes from her being a stubborn person. I'm stubborn, I know that. But stubborn is different from being rude. So if I'm saying something to somebody, I'm saying it and I'm certain about it, but I'm not going to be rude or disrespectful to you because I'm trying to prove a point that as much as I'm a woman, what I'm saying, you must take it because I'm the first child and all of that. That's not what I'm going to do. But I'm going to make you see that if you don't do what I'm saying, you're going to end up being the stupid person. No offense. But that's just how it is for me. So it wasn't something that I was very oblivious to it, and there are things that I don't see, and I take that from my dad. There are so many things that I don't see because I choose to not see it. So if anybody sees me as, oh, she's the first child but she's a girl, and so I choose to not see it. That's just it. Because me seeing it is going to make me react to you in a way that I know I don't want to react to you in that way. So I'm just not going to see it. So if I'm going to say something to you, so when even people come and say they want to see my parents or they want to have a conversation with my parents, or my parents direct people to me and say something, I'm talking to you because I know that they trust what I'm saying. If they don't trust what I'm saying, they will not they won't give me the authority to say what I'm saying. They will not give me the position to do what I'm doing if they don't trust that I'm going to deliver. And they trusting that I'm going to deliver is not because I'm not a man. It's because they know that they paid my school fees. So of course they know that I am smart and intelligent. so, so they know. And they are not expecting me to now do things in a shabby way because I'm a woman. If I'm going to trust you to do something, you had better do it and deliver because you are smart and intelligent. That is why you have to do it and deliver. So if you're in a position of leadership, you're there because you are supposed to be there, not because you are a woman or you're a man. You're supposed to be there and you're supposed to do what you're supposed to do there. So it's not something that I grew up knowing that the way I'm supposed to lead my family is different because I'm a man or because I'm a woman or anything. I do it because I'm supposed to, and how I do it works, and so it works for everybody. Everybody's fine. At least nobody has insulted me on how I talk to my siblings. And my siblings have not told me that I've ever done anything that's harmed or caused them any trouble or any issues. So I believe that we are all on the right path. And I believe that all of my other siblings, my extended family too, they all love and respect me as much as I do them. So it works for everybody. It's trusting your abilities, trusting your capabilities, and trusting the things that you are able to do in yourself. And I think it comes from a large part of that comes from you trusting in your identity, knowing who you are and trusting in your identity as well. And that usually comes from having a relationship with God. You cannot know yourself if you don't know God. Sorry, but not sorry. And so yeah, so it just kind of links together. And so yeah, that basically is it.
Low key, I feel like I'm blessed, and in the last literally in the last I think 4 to 5 interviews I've had, all my guests have never been ashamed of mentioning their faith in the conversation. Frank Becker, I've shared a lot of them. Let me not start just
Yeah.
mentioning names. And I've been like, wow, this is awesome. We have people that are doing great things in the corporate world, and they are not afraid to mention one of the secrets or one of the things that help them achieve some of these feats. Like the way you are splitting all this wisdom, you are making them know that it's not just me.
It's not just me. No, I honestly always question when people say, like, a lot of people that that don't have a relationship, I question how they go through life, because I'm like, life on its own is a lot of crossroads. How are you doing this without God? So yeah.
Let's see, a lot of shade. That's
Yeah, yeah.
the language. Thank you so much. I still have few questions, but I'm feeling like I don't want to because of another time. I will add it. I'm not doing. Let me list more. I will not do all of it. Thank you so much. I really want to sincerely appreciate it. I don't take it for granted having you on this platform. It's a privilege for me, and I'm really grateful. Thank you for living out everything you should be doing now to be here and to be splitting all of these all of these big things to us. And I know I'm going to edit it and place it on more platforms for people to see. And I feel it's something every lady should see, and probably some men too. So
Everyone should see it as well.
thank
Thank
you
you for
so
having
much.
me. Thank
I
you.
don't know if you have any other comment you want to share. Probably there was something you were bringing, and I could not dip
I
into
think
to.
maybe I said everything. Maybe to just add that as a woman, happy International Women's Day, yay us, we are doing great things. But to also add that as a woman, you should not feel inferior wherever you find yourself. It is very easy to feel inferior in a space that you find yourself. But if you're in a space, know that you're supposed to be there. So just choose to shine
Mm.
and be not stubborn, steadfast in being in being a light where you are. Not stubborn, just be steadfast, just be fixed and focused on what you're doing, focused on the assignment, and make up your mind to stand out. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. I'm not permitted. I want to say that is a hell of a speech. Thank you so much. Please do
Thank you for
enjoy
having
the rest of
me.
your
Have a good
night.
evening.
Happy
Yeah.
Wednesday. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye bye.